and welcome back to another episode of Coffee Diaries, the series where we talk about all things blogging and photography. Although these days I feel like we tend to talk more about blogging, which is fine with me. But if you guys happen to have any photography based questions, feel free to ask me in the comment section down below and I will try my best to tackle it. I know I haven't done a Coffee Diaries in a while, and that is because when I first started the show, I wanted it to be as interactive as possible, whereby I would come out and talk about a topic and you guys get to ask me questions, and those questions will then go on to form part of other topics in future episodes. But I haven't been getting much in the way of questions, so I've decided I'm not going to wait for the questions to come in. I'm just going to make these series based on topics that crop up to my head or challenges that I've faced and I feel like you guys might also benefit from. So without further ado, let us get into today's episode. Today I will be talking about how to succeed as a full-time blogger. I believe I've been doing this for close to 2 years now. It's going to be 2 years in July since I've been blogging full-time. I actually started blogging in late December of 2013, but only went full-time in late summer 2017, actually in summer of 2017. So I feel like I am in a position whereby I can talk you through some of the things that I've had to do in order to succeed in this space. Right now I've got my cup of tea in hand. I am not drinking coffee. This tea is actually hibiscus tea. It looks and tastes really great. I'm just waiting for it to cool down because it's quite hot and I don't want to burn myself. So how do you succeed as a full-time blogger? I'll be talking about 3 things that I believe has helped me succeed in this space. The first thing being focus on building your brand. I know in this day and age, almost everyone you meet is either a blogger, an influencer, or some sort of content creator. But the truth is that there is enough room for everyone to succeed in this industry. But in order not to be like everyone else, you need to define what your brand is. Everyone has something to add to this space. That's one thing I truly believe. And what you have to add is your story. Our stories are really what makes us very unique. My story, you know, as a Nigerian who ended up moving to the UK with a background in accounting, and my journey through boarding school and university back home before moving over here, all of that I believe has led to shaping my character and who I am. And that translates in the way I see things when I photograph an image, or the way I write and express myself on my blog or on my Instagram. Individual and unique experiences basically is what forms a huge part of our brand. So I would say focus on your story and try to express it in your work. This could be via writing or the way you produce and share your content. At the end of the day, we're all human beings and we're looking for that one-on-one connection. And I feel like it's very, very easy to lose a sense of who you are in the blogging industry because you're trying to emulate and keep up with what everyone else is doing. And in doing so, you forget the reason why you went into it in the first place and what will set you apart from everyone else. It's not, you know, using a filter. Using a filter is not a brand. What will set you apart is what you have to say, what your brand has to say. So I would say focus on building your brand, which has to do a lot with your story, to the extent that when people see your work, they can relate it back to you, if that makes any sense. This will make you stand out in the industry, not the amount of followers. I don't believe that I have a lot of followers, but I've been able to succeed because my work speaks for itself. I've been able to inject my personal experiences as well as share my stories in a way that I've been able to connect with other people across the world. So I would say focus on building your brand and the rest will follow. The next thing I'm going to be talking about is building relationships in the community. In order to succeed in this community, I do believe networking and building relationships is a given if you want to succeed in this industry. Oops, I'm going to take a sip of my tea because I think it's calmed down. I think it's cool down there. So how do you go about building relationships in the industry? I would say find a community. There are loads of Facebook pages or Instagram pages that have been set up to help, say, bloggers and influencers alike to support each other. You might even find a photographer in that space. You might find a stylist, a videographer. You would find people in communities like that. And you can build a relationship with them, which could eventually lead to collaborations. I'd say focus on building genuine relationships with people that you connect with your work, because that way it can lead to future collaborations. Do not target people based on the number of followers that they have, because those type of relationship building doesn't tend to end well, because it would come across as if you're chasing people because you feel like you could benefit from your numbers rather than what you have to offer and bring to the table as a content creator. So if you've spent time building your brand, then your brand should speak for itself, to the extent that when you approach people who you genuinely connect with, they will also be willing to build a relationship with you, and this could potentially lead to collaborations in the future. I would say don't just build a relationship with other bloggers alike, build relationships with the brands that you work with. I've come across quite a few people who, when they say work with a brand, they don't go on to foster a relationship with that brand, and it's a shame, because it's good to build long-term relationships with brands, because brands are always doing campaigns. Brands are always looking to work with content creators. So if you have a relationship with them, chances are they will carry on working with you on a consistent basis. And you also appear very genuine to your followers, because it means you're not promoting every Tom, Dick and Harry on your blog or social media feed, but you would show consistency in the sense that this person loves this brand and this person is true to the brand. I think a lot of influencers and bloggers tend to sometimes feel like brands always need them, but brands need you, but sometimes they might forget about you. But one way for them to always remember you is if you foster a relationship with the brand. So how do you do this? After a collaboration, email the brand, say thank you very much, I enjoyed working with you. If you had some feedback from your followers after the collaboration, let them know of that. Tell them about future plans with regards to your blog and where you're looking to take it to, as well as how the brand fits into the work that you hope to do in the future. And that is a good way to foster a relationship with brands. Also, foster relationships with blogging agencies. There's so many blogging agencies around, and they represent the clients in turn, and they tend to get a lot of brands who are registered with them, so they are constantly seeking creatives in the industry that they would like to work with. And if you build a close relationship with them, then they will always put you forward for the right roles. I think I know it's quite disappointing, but I have heard of bloggers who have taken on campaigns that have been put out by influencer agencies and not delivered at the end of the campaign. At the last minute, they'll just say, oh, I'm not interested. The thing about building a brand is that your reputation becomes part of your brand, and people tend to forget this. If you go out doing things that don't necessarily put you in a positive light, then even though you are good at what you do, your reputation would be, oh, she's good at her job, but she's a hard person to rely on. You can't rely on her. And that will follow you. The industry might seem big, but word goes around really quickly, and you don't want to be known as someone who isn't reliable, because at the end of the day, that goes on to form a huge part of your brand, even though that wasn't your intention. So I would say when you're working with agencies, be honest with them upfront, and also try to build a relationship with them. If you feel like they've given you a job that doesn't quite work with you, feel free to go back to them and say, thank you very much for considering me for this job. At this point in time, I don't think it fits into my work, but I would definitely love to work with you. These are some brands that you represent, and I feel like they work really well for me. I hope that makes sense. Finally, I would say diversify your portfolio. So when I talk about portfolio diversification, I'm talking about not just focusing on, say, Instagram alone, because at the end of the day, you do not own Instagram. You just have an account on Instagram, and if Instagram shuts down tomorrow, then your account is gone, and how you're going to carry on, making a business out of this. So I would say have a blog, have YouTube like I'm doing right now. But for me, the way I've gone about to diversify my portfolio is by also doing photography outside of Instagram. So it's not just being a blogger. So I am a photographer, I am also a videographer and a creative director. So all of those skills that I am acquiring besides just being a blogger will then help me go on to succeed outside of this space, because I, believe it or not, a lot of the work that I get paid more for are work that doesn't even feature on my social media. So brands want me to create content for them that they can go on to use for campaigns. So they pay me for the rights of my images and videos. So I would say in order to succeed on this space, and this is where followers do not matter, because if you're going by the numbers and you're thinking, oh, this person isn't making money because they aren't posting on social media, wrong. They have other talents that could be used outside of social media. So I would say focus on improving your skill set and diversifying your portfolio. That way you will continue to succeed no matter the challenges that come your way. This brings me to the end of today's topic. I hope you guys have found it useful. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Tell me how you've been able to succeed as a full-time blogger so that other people can learn as well. Until next time, follow me on Instagram and check out my blog and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't. I will see you soon. Bye.